Click the bell icon to get latest videos from Equida.
Hello guys, in this particular video we will learn the mathematical aspect of high frequency response of CECE multi-stage amplifier. So as far as CECE is concerned, it's BJT in cascade, so two stage with BJT transistors, and high frequency is concerned, we just have to calculate the higher cutoff frequency with multiple RC networks, which is given as far as numerical is concerned. Okay. So let's look at this particular numerical. As far as this numerical is concerned, they will ask you the value of higher cutoff frequency. So the question is, find the higher cutoff frequency, provided that they gave us all the stray capacitance values for each stage. Okay, they haven't specified any another values. So let us say that they have to specify. Let's see, given values, we will include some given values that are nothing but the values beta 1 is equal to beta 2 is equal to, let's say, 200. Okay, so for both the transistors, your current gain B1, beta 1 and beta 2 is equal to 200, and with which we will move towards the finding of higher cutoff frequency. This question they may ask you for 10 marks. This is because this 10 marks gets split up into three parts. First is your DC analysis, where we will be getting the value of GM and small re, which are the responsible parameters to finding the voltage gain, right? Then we will find out what is the value of voltage gain, as we just have to find out the higher cutoff frequency, but the higher cutoff frequency depends on the Miller's capacitance, and this Miller's capacitance depends on the voltage gain, and the voltage gain depends on the values of small re and small gm, that is transconductance, and these values will be getting nothing but by DC analysis. So first step will be your finding of the GM and RE, that is the DC values. Second is to find the value of gain, that is for AV1 and AV2. Third step is to find out different RC circuits, FH1, FH2 and FH3. So all these three FH values will be the third and last step. So for these three steps are important as far as to get the complete 10 marks values are concerned. So let's see, start with this particular numerical fatafat, and your step number 1 will be your DC analysis. So step number 1, as far as DC analysis is concerned, I know that we just have to move with only one stage, because all these two stages are identical to each other, 15K, 15K, 2.2K, 2K2. Hold on, this 2K2 is not the printing mistake, mind well, this 2K2 is nothing but 2.2K. So I can say that this value is nothing but the value 2.2K ohm. Okay, so whenever they give you such values, 3K6, that means 3.6K, 4K7, that is nothing but 4.7K, and so on. So keep this in mind that if 2K2 is given, its value is nothing but 2.2K. Then we will say that these two stages are identical. We will directly move to the DC analysis of your stage number 1 and stage number 2. Okay, so this is your R1 having value of 15 kilo ohm, this is of 4.7 kilo ohm, this is of value 2.2 kilo ohm, and this is of value 1 kilo ohm. Connected to ground, this is connected to plus 20 volts. Okay, once we do the DC analysis, right, so we will be getting so many parameters, and out of that, first of all, first step is to convert into Thevenin's equivalent circuit. So Thevenin's equivalent circuit will be the first step, Thevenin's equivalent circuit, and out of that we will be getting the value of RTH. RTH is nothing but the value 15K parallel with 4.7K, and that comes out to be 3.58 kilo ohm. Then will we have to find out the value VTH. VTH is nothing but the value 4.7K divided by 15K plus 4.7K, the whole multiplied with 20 volts. This value comes out to be 3.77 volts. Once we reach to this particular value, we have to calculate the value of IB. This value of IB is equal to VTH minus VBE divided by RTH plus 1 plus beta, beta is given, that is 200, multiplied by RE1 or RE2, anything will do, will get the same value. This value will come out to be 19.89 microampere. Okay, once we get this value of IB, we can easily reach the value of ICQ, and that ICQ value is nothing but 19.89 into 10 to the power minus 6 is nothing but micro, multiplied by beta value. Beta into IB is nothing but the value of IC. So here we can say 19.89 into 10 to the power minus 6 multiplied by 200. So this is how we will be getting the value 3.98 milliampere. So this is the value of ICQ we have got, and now we have to move ahead for this particular IC, for this particular AC equivalent network parameters, that is nothing but RE, right? RE is nothing but BT divided by IE. As I know that beta value is 200, it's a very high, I can say that IE is nearly equal to IC. So we can say this is 26 millivolts divided by IE is equal to 3.98. So we'll be getting 6.53 ohm. That's the value of RE. Requirement for the AC analysis is GM1. We can say that this GM1 is equal to 1 upon RE from the formula itself, and here we'll be getting 0.153, I guess. Here we'll be getting 0.153 mho. So answer is 0.153 mho. So GM1 and GM2 values are same. So as far as the first finding is concerned, we'll be getting GM1 is equal to GM2 is equal to 0.153 mho. Okay, so this is the first finding, and where we'll be getting the value of AV1 and AV2, and that we have to incorporate into the higher cutoff frequency formulas. So let's move to the step number 2, that is nothing but your AV1 and AV2. Step number 2 is to find AV1 and AV2. AV1 and AV2 I'm not specifying as AC analysis of this particular circuit, but because here we don't have to calculate complete AC analysis, we just have to specify what is the value of AV1 and AV2 which are required for the calculation of FH1 and FH2 and FH intermediate. Okay, so this AV1 comes out to be, AV1 is equal to minus of GM1 multiplied by RC1 in parallel with RB2 in parallel with RPi2. Okay, as far as AV2 is concerned, AV2 value is minus of GM2 into RC2, right? So as far as this circuit is comprises of, see to it that this circuit is comprises of the 1K and 1K without any your bypass capacitor. So your gain is not only restricted to this particular value. Okay, so your gain will be somehow different for AV1. So here I can say that this RPi1 is no longer as only RPi2. So it will be RPi2 plus 1 plus beta times RE2, and this complete combination we have to take with the multiplication of GM1. Okay, then at the output stage there will not be any change, so just have to calculate the value of AV1 and AV2. Calculate these particular values. We have all these values, GM1 and GM2 is equal to 0.153, and RC1, RB2, RPi2, beta, RE2 and RC2, all the values are given. You just have to find out what is the value of AV1 and AV2. Okay, so what is the value of AV1, AV2? Pause the screen, calculate, check your calc is working or not, and come to me. So what's the value of what are the values of AV1 and AV2 that you have got? AV1 is equal to minus 207.08 and AV2 is equal to 336.6. So now we will move towards the actual picture of high frequency calculation. Okay, so we'll keep this in mind that AV1 is equal to this and AV2 is equal to this, that we have to incorporate somewhere in your frequency response calculation. So your next step is your step number 3, higher cutoff frequency. Okay, As far as higher cutoff frequency is concerned, we will be having 3 RC circuit. One is at the input side, one intermediate in the first stage and second stage, and third will be at the output of second stage. Okay, so let's move to the first part. That is nothing but the RC circuit, which is formed by the first stage, input stage of the first stage. So these capacitors will be getting, that are nothing but, let's say, first capacitance, that is nothing but CMI1, that is Miller's input capacitance. Second is your input capacitance between your base and emitter, that is CBE1, which is given, and whether wiring capacitors are given or not, that we'll have to check. So let's see, wiring capacitors are not given. So as I said earlier, if wiring capacitors are not given, then don't incorporate these wiring capacitors. Simple. So now my circuit will become simple. You can say that here at the input side we'll be getting the RB1, and here we'll be getting the RY1. Moreover, you have to incorporate this value of the shifted value of RE1, because this complete resistor is not along with the parallel combination with bypass capacitor. So we can say that this is how we get the complete RC network, and where two capacitors are in parallel, and RB1, this particular resistance comprises of RB1 in parallel combination with RPi1 plus the shifted resistance of RE1, that is 1 plus beta times RE1 in parallel in series with RPi1. So first of all, we will say that FH1 is equal to 1 upon 2 pi RC. Now our job is to find out the little bit value of the C and R. So we'll move step by step. First of all, we'll calculate the value of CMI1. This CMI1 is equal to 1 minus AV1 multiplied by CBC. Okay, so we know the value of CBC. CBC value is given as 8 picofarad. So 8 picofarad multiplied by AV1 is 207.08 with negative sign. So negative will become positive. So we can say that 1 plus 207.08 multiplied by CBC, that is 8 picofarad. Okay, calculate this value. Come to me after your calculation of CMI1. Then how to calculate the value of complete C? This complete C is nothing but CMI1 plus CBE1 plus wiring capacitor, but wiring capacitor is not given. So our calculation will become simple now. Okay, so calculate these values of C. Then we have to calculate the value of R. R is nothing but the parallel combination of RB1 and this RPi1 plus 1 plus beta time RE1. Okay, so let's calculate all these values, put the values of C and R in this frequency calculation, and then find out the values of FH1. So the values of R and C we got. So the values of R is nothing but 3.51 kilo ohm. C is nothing but 1.668 nanofarad. You may get confusion that how to calculate the value of RPi1. See to it that the value of RPi1 is nothing but beta into Re. We have got the value of Re as 6.53 ohm. We have the values of beta 1 and beta 2, that is nothing but the beta is equal to 200. So just have to multiply 200 with 6.53 and we'll be getting the values of RPi1 and RPi2 further as well. So once we get this value of RPi1, we'll just incorporate these values over here in this particular bracket, and then parallel combination along with RB1. This RB1 is nothing but the value of RTH1. Okay, so RTH is nothing but the value of RB1. Okay, so here we'll get to the value of FH1 as, let's see what's the value of FH1 we have got. The value of FH1 comes out to be 27.184 kilohertz. So 27.184 kilohertz, that's the first frequency we have got, right? Let's see what the second RC circuit, intermediate RC circuit, tells us about the FH2. Okay, so let's draw this RC network. This is nothing but the B part with the black pen. So see the all the capacitors at the output side. First of all, we'll have to say that the CMO1 Miller's output capacitance for the stage 1, and then the capacitor between the collector and the emitter side, so that will be another capacitor. Then at the stage 2 we'll be having the base and emitter capacitors, that is CBE2, CCE1, CBE2, CMO1. Moreover, I have to have the capacitor which is at the Miller's input capacitor for the second stage, CMI2. So all these four along with the wiring capacitor, but it is not present. So I can say that only 4 capacitances are there in the parallel combination with each other, and one resistances will be getting also, that will be in the form of parallel combination. So this is, let's say, R C1. Okay, another capacitor, another resistor I will be getting for the input of stage 1, but that I'm not incorporating over here. I don't have space over here, so instead of drawing it over here, I'm just drawing it in this particular input side only. So this will be your R pi 2 along with the resistance of the shifted resistance, that is nothing but your 1 plus beta times Re2, and moreover we have another resistance, that is nothing but your Rb2. So this is how we have got the big circuit of consist of 4 capacitances and basically 4 resistances. So just have to calculate the fundamental formula. Don't worry about the complexity of the circuit, just stick to this particular calculation. Just have parallel combination of all capacitances, parallel combination of all the resistances. You just have to calculate. You are not actually doing, your calci is doing your work, and you just have to calculate the values. 1 upon 2 pi RC. What's the value of R? R is nothing but Rb2 in parallel with R pi 2 plus 1 plus beta times Re2 complete bracket in parallel with Rc1. Then what's the value of C? First of all, we'll have to calculate CMO1 and CMI2. So we'll first calculate what's the value of CMI1. CMI2 and CMO1. CMI2 is nothing but 1 minus AV2 multiplied by CBC2, right? We have the value of this AV2 we have got, that is nothing but minus 336.6. So we have got the value of AV2 minus will become plus, so 336.6 multiplied by CBC, that is given as 8 picofarad. So whatever value you get, write it down over here. Then similarly, what's the value of CMO1? The formula for CMO1 is 1 minus AV1 inverse multiplied by CBC1. Okay, what's the value of AV1? We have got 207.8. So we have calculated the value of CMO1. The formula of CMO1 is a little bit different, 1 minus AV1 inverse into CBC1. Find out the value of AV1 inverse, 1 plus that AV1 inverse, because minus will become plus in the formula of AV1 itself, and that the value of this 1 is nearly about 1 only. So let's have to add this plus 1.0048, so that is 1 only. So here we'll be getting 1.0048 multiplied by 8 picofarad, that is nearly about 8 picofarad only. And now we have to calculate the value of C. So C is, overall C is nothing but, we'll write the value over here. First of all, C is equal to CMO1 plus CMI2 plus CBE2 plus CCE1, right? And that we have just have to add, find out the value of CMI2, CMO1, right? And we already have CBE2 value and CCE1 value. Just add them as they are in parallel combination, calculate the value of C, calculate the value of R, and then put the value of that R and C in your FL. I'm so sorry, it's not FL2, it's FH2. Okay, so it's FH2 value you will be getting after putting the value of R and C in this particular formula. So pause your screen, do the complete mathematical work, and then again come to me. We'll check the answers. Once we get the value of this C and R, we have got the value of C is 2.724 nanofarad, then R is equal to 1.352 kilo ohm. We just have to incorporate this value over here, and this is how we have got the value of this FH2 as 43.2 kilohertz. So this is the second answer we have got. I can say that this FH2 is equal to 43.2 kilohertz. Let's move out to calculate the last value as far as higher cutoff frequency is concerned. So let's see, the C part is of the last output stage of your second stage. So output of second stage is comprises of again few capacitances. First capacitance is in between collector and emitter of stage 2, that is CCE2. Then your Miller's output capacitance, that is CMO2. Okay, and wiring capacitor at the output side, but wiring capacitor is not there. Again we'll have to check only for one resistor, so only one resistor will be there. You can say that this is RC2. Okay, so this is a simple RC circuit we'll be having. No other resistance are there. If load resistance is there, we'll have to place it in parallel with it, right? So our general formula for this FH3, that is nothing but 1 upon 2 pi RC, right? Whereas R is directly known to me. R is nothing but your 2.2 kilo ohm, that is nothing but your RC2. We have to calculate the value of C. C is nothing but CMO2 plus CCE2. Okay, CCE value is given to me, but we have to calculate the value of CMO2, right? That depends on the gain factor of the second stage, that is AV2 inverse. So 1 minus AV2 inverse is nothing but the multiplied with CBC2, which will give you the value of the CMO2. Will be come out to be nearly equal to CBC2 only. How we will get to know that? As AV2 is very high, so its inverse is very less as compared to 1. So 1 minus that, 1 plus that particular value is very less, and that is that this complete bracket will be nearly equal to 1 only. 1 multiplied by CBC2 is equal to CBC2 only. So let's see what's the value of AV2. 336.6 inverse plus 1, that will come out to be 1.003. So 1.003 multiplied by CBC2, that will be come out to be CBC2 only. So we'll say that this is equal to CBC2 only. So here we will say what's the value of C and what's the value of R. Calculate this value, put this value in this particular formula, and you'll get the value. Here we'll be getting very high value, and this value FH3 comes out to be 3.6 megahertz. It's a huge value. So third value we have got, and now we have to conclude our complete numerical to find out the higher cutoff frequency. I can say that higher cutoff frequency is nothing but the minimum value out of FH1, FH2 and FH3. FH1, FH2, FH3, and that is nothing but the minimum of, I can say that the first value we have got, that is nothing but 27.1 kilohertz. Then next one we have got, that is nothing but, how much value we have got? 43.2 kilohertz, and this one is very huge. It comes out to be 3.6 megahertz. And out of all these three values, I can say that I will determine which one is minimum. This one is minimum. So this one is nothing but your higher cutoff frequency. Okay. So as far as answer is concerned, I have only one answer which has been asked us for this particular numerical. So FH is equal to 27.1 kilohertz. That is our answer. Okay. So as far as this numerical is concerned, we kick off this particular numerical with the answer as 27.1 kilohertz, and in the next few numericals we'll get more complex numericals where we'll have to do a complete analysis of low and high cutoff frequency as well. So stay tuned for those videos and learn more and more EDC along with me with Ekeeda videos. Subscribe Ekeeda videos. Thank you so much.